there's so much magic if you're open to believing and seeing it. We would cook it with the coals and there was no electricity. I lived in Barcelona, so I walked across Spain. I did the Camino de Santiago. Yeah. So I was like, okay, what job can I do to take me abroad again? And so I became a teacher in Korea. And I lived in Korea for 2 years. Right? With that mentality and that mindset, I was like, I can't fail. You're not gonna fail. Every coach needs a coach.
Hi guys, Dan here. Today on Deciding to Thrive, I'm joined by my very first female guest. Her name's Joy Summers. She's a gut health specialist, all the way from the USA, now living in Dubai. Via 70 plus countries. She's lived in Thailand, Bali, Italy, Germany, so many places, Korea. Absolute crazy story. She's done the Camino de Santiago, which is a walk across Spain. She's climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. When you hear from this girl what she's seen and experienced, it's going to blow your mind. Let's get into it. Okay, great. So today on Deciding to Thrive, we've got the lovely Joy Summers, gut health specialist. How you doing?
Amazing. How are you? I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you here. So look, a lot is happening. How long have you been in Dubai for?
Less than a year.
Less than a year.
Yeah.
And I know we met originally at a big seminar/conference. Give me a little bit of where you're at the minute and what's happening. Because I know you've got loads going on.
I do have loads,
so,
yeah.
So really off, tell me where you're at.
Well, I want to go back to that conference because that was a really pivotal part of my journey right now. So I had only been here for a few months before I met you.
Yeah.
And the conference started on a Friday. That Thursday night, I remember being in tears to my mother, being like, Dubai is so hard. It's not the place for me. Like, I'm going to move back to Thailand where I was coming from. And I got a ticket to this conference. I walked in. I saw one of my old friends and he's like, Joy, how you doing? And I just burst into tears. That was the Friday.
Right, okay.
And he pulled me aside, we had a coffee, chatted it out, and he just looked me in the face and he's like, when times get hard, you just keep going. And then I ended up meeting you. I ended up meeting all the right people at the right time. Oof, I get goosebumps even thinking about it because literally that weekend was so pivotal that brought me to the success of where things are going right now.
Right.
So that weekend was magic. And so, yeah, today, I mean, Soul Sessions is a sober, conscious coffee party movement that we started about 8 months, February, whenever that was. So,
about 6 months ago.
A month after that conference,
yeah.
Okay, during that weekend, I had met someone named Dina at one of the after party events. Met her for 20 seconds. I just connected with her straight away. She was a DJ. So a couple weeks later, I walked into a restaurant and I had this idea. I was like, this venue is amazing for a day party, a sober event. I stopped drinking, but I still want to dance and I still want to connect and I still want to enjoy. And so I asked the guys that ran this restaurant, I said, hey, do you think that we can throw a party here? And I thought of Dina to host and DJ. And from there, it's just like taken off and it's just become this movement.
I love how you call it a movement, right? We're going to go back into this because I want to go on to this, loads of other stuff that you're doing, right? But just for you to know, I had my first success. I don't know if we might have discussed this. I had my first success in nightclubs.
Okay.
I don't know if you know that.
I knew just a little bit. So
okay.
Yes, I would love to know your story about that too.
So I used to bring out, many years ago, 5,000 people a week. I won awards in clubs. I mean, for about 15 years in the UK, like I was one of the top guys in terms of celebrity events. But what's funny for me is how you're calling it a movement, because this is more of a conscious movement. There's a different sort of tribe that's following you, and it is really gathering momentum, which is cool. Now, I want to come back to Soul Sessions because I think that's really interesting. I love how it was a pivotal weekend when I met you. But you've got other stuff going on as well. I know you've got sponsorship deals. I mean, you're busy. You've got a lot of things. You're getting yourself out. You're in the right circles. You're meeting the right people. Yeah. Just give me a bit of a top line and then we can go back into it.
Okay, great. So my main gig is I'm actually like a gut health specialist and a coach. Yeah. And I help people balance their hormones, lose weight in the most holistic sense possible. So when I first moved here, I moved into a brand new house and I was like, I want to find all of the non-toxic companies, clean ingredient products. I got into gut health because I had so many gut health issues, even though I was an athlete my whole life. But when I started reading the labels and looking at all the crap that's on the market, I was like, this is a fresh start. It's a new chapter. Let me go out and kind of see what Dubai has to offer. And there's no one-stop shop umbrella for all of these companies here. So it was like a treasure hunt.
Is there anywhere, by the way? Do you think there's a one-stop umbrella anywhere? Because I don't think...
Oh, that's a good question. No, like in the States, it is like, okay, you look at this website for your shampoos and then this website for your groceries. Right. But there are a lot more grocery stores that are catered to, I mean, we have Whole Foods, right? And in the West Coast, there's Sprouts and Trader Joe's. So there are certain places.
More like health kind of supermarkets.
Minded, yeah. More the organic stuff, you know, all that. But still, like, how cool would it be? Like, so many expats are coming into Dubai. What if there was a place that we could be like, okay, I need pots and pans, you know, cast iron. I need soap, shampoos, lotions. I need dishwashing detergent. Just let's bring it all together. And I never use the word competition because it's a low frequency word, right? Okay. So collaboration is what I'm going for, you know? And like slowly these companies were like, let's get you on our team, like become an affiliate, become this influencer for a non-tox life.
Right.
And so I get to like meet all of these. And a lot of these companies are moms that were struggling with their own health issues or families or so small businesses that I love to support.
I love that. So okay, so that's the top line. That's your gut health specialist coach. And I think what I see from your journey, you're really, and even you speak it, by the way, because this is something you live. Yeah. So, and you talk about frequency because it's not just the health side, but it's also the psychological, the emotional. And what I see you doing is really living life, traveling around the world, going to all these kind of events and mixing with all different sorts of people as well. So I think, you know, tell me a bit, I know you just came back from Turkey, was it? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I mean, people think that Dubai is just this like superficial, fancy cars, fast, you know, whatever. I have found such a spiritual community here. So, you know, gathering that community, but then I'll go to like the Crunch Moms events and hang out with the moms. And then I'll hang out with like my Indian friends. And so one thing I love about Dubai is the diversity. And then also the amount of networking, meetups, places to connect. People want to meet up and like go for a walk on the beach, you know, or a coffee. And so I find it a very collaborative frequency here in Dubai in general. The other way that I love to describe Dubai is like Burning Man. Okay. Yeah. So for, you know, if you've never been to Burning Man, every corner that you take is wow. Like you'll go and you're just like, wow. And then wow. And again, high vibration. You come to Dubai and you go into an event or a building or you meet someone that all of a sudden you're like, wow, I can't believe that just happened.
Yeah.
Right? Don't you feel that energy?
You know what? It's interesting. Somebody explained to me a long, long time ago, before Dubai was on my radar as a place to live, they explained to me that it's such a collaborative place because it's a young city. So, and then what I believe now from living here is it attracts a certain type of person that wants to grow and collaborate. It's like a magnet for that person. So whereas we might grow up in our area wherever we're born, you're just surrounded by by default, whoever you're surrounded by. But from around the world, this city attracts that mentality type of person. So I think it's a lot more centric of that kind of.
Yeah, it's abundance and it's expansive, right? Every other conversation is like, how can we grow a business? How can we, you know, elevate ourselves? And I don't feel the sense of jealousy here like you do in some European countries. Like, I want to see my friends succeed, you know?
And I think everyone's driven with fitness, like you say, like walking as well, like on the beach and all this kind of stuff, right? So, but what's also interesting, which I also think, by the way, is like when you were crying the first time when you came here, like, man, it's so tough, because it is tough. It's not forgiving. Like, it's very unforgiving. It's not like you grow up wherever you are and you can stay at mum and dad's house or you can not really have a job. You have to be thriving here. And actually, you know, one of the reasons I love what I do on this podcast, I call it Deciding to Thrive, is because first there's many successful people here, but even many of us have moved here. And for many people, that's a decision to decide to go to a place where they can thrive. No one comes here and goes, I'm going to chill out by the beach in Dubai. Dubai, you moved to Dubai to grow.
You do. Yeah. And that's why you meet other people that are in the same.
Yeah.
I mean, I lived in Thailand for 9 years.
Yeah.
You can be a floater in Thailand. You can be a hippie backpacker.
Yeah.
You can be making, $10 a day, whatever. But like, you're coming to Dubai to hustle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to the very beginning, right? So you are essentially a farm girl.
Yep.
Yeah. You grew up on a farm.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Just outside of Boston. So just tell me the early years. You've touched on that you as an athlete and stuff like that. Just tell me where it all started.
Yeah.
And how joy became joy. And then I want to go through because you've had a lot of achievements and you've done a lot of stuff. So take me back to the very beginning.
Cool. Yeah. I grew up on a small farm. Mm-hmm. My mom is a naturopathic doctor. So, and she was a midwife. She's a healer. I mean, she's like the American version of Barbara O'Neill. That's how I describe her. She's been talking about all these biohacks ever since I was a kid. The castor oil packs, the holistic herbal remedies. I mean, all of it. So I had a beautiful mentor. I grew up in the horse competing circuit. So really connecting with animals, lifting heavy buckets of hay and shoveling horse manure. I mean, we were put to work, for sure. And then I went to the West Coast. I went to college in Arizona and spent a lot of time in Arizona. I had some sisters out there as well. And then after I graduated, I booked a one-way ticket to Europe and I couch surfed my way around Europe and Africa for almost 2 years.
When you say couch surf.
Yeah. Do you remember that website?
No.
Okay.
No. So Couchsurf was a website?
It was a website. This was before Instagram and Airbnb.
Okay.
You could literally, I was like 21, just graduated. You could say like, hey, I'm coming to Munich for the week. Do you have a spare couch, hammock, floor, bedroom? I mean, back then, it was a way to meet locals and then stay somewhere cool and for free.
Is it not risky?
Knock on wood, I had never had a problem.
Yeah.
I know I'm a bigger girl, but I never had a problem.
But also a girl. So, guessing guys, it's.
Yeah, no, the website was really cool because there was ways to verify.
Vetted? I was going to say, is it like Uber, like everyone's vetted or something?
Yes, exactly. So if 28 people say that Joe Schmo's a good person, I was like, okay, let's check it out, But yeah, in my 2 years, I never had any weird issues.
Amazing.
And I met the coolest people going to I remember here's this, little naive American girl. I landed in Ireland. I called up my mom. I said, Mom, I'm on the train. I'm going to my first couch surfer's house. Picks me up from the train station. We went to one of his local friends' Irish house party that night. An experience that you wouldn't get if you just stayed at a hostel or hotel.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I'm not couch surfing anymore, but yeah, it was fun.
You know what? I listened to that. I think I have mixed views on it. When I listen to you say it, it sounds like such a fruitful, happy-go-lucky life. But I think if I had a daughter and she told me that, I'd be like, no way.
You're not doing
a
it.
Random stranger picking you up from the airport, taking you out to his friend's house. Just think of all the things that could go.
Yeah, but this was 20 years ago.
This was you're restoring my faith in humanity, by the way.
Yeah, no, really. I'll never forget. I went to Munich, and I wish I knew this guy's name because it was this little Italian guy. He lived 2 train stops from Oktoberfest. I get there the first day, we meet, whatever. He's like, hey, I need to leave for work, but here are the keys to my flat, enjoy. Trust, right?
Yeah,
I had a free place to stay at Oktoberfest, back then. It was great. So
something like a great, and what inspired you to go to Europe? Because it's really interesting, right? Growing up in the US, and I have a lot of friends, I've got a lot of connections in the US. Many people don't really leave the US. You've got, so many states in the US, people are flying generally internally. Not many, and they go to Mexico and stuff like that. Not many people go, let me go and travel Europe.
Yeah, no, I have to give a shout out to I call her my bonus mom. She's my stepmom, and she took me to my first European trips when I was younger.
Right, okay, good.
So there was always
the vision
that.
was
and then the other reason why I went to Ireland, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. I watched the movie P.S. I Love You.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to meet an Irish boyfriend. I'm going to go to Galway and meet my Irish man. So that was I remember that. That's so funny.
Have you watched Love Actually?
Of course.
Yeah, he goes, we go to America. All the hot girls in.
It didn't happen, by the way. It didn't happen. But back then, Ireland had a really cool couch surfing community. In fact, my first, so not only was it a place to stay, but they had community events. So, Friday night, all the couch surfers would meet at a bar or whatever.
Right.
And we went to like storytelling events. And then we went to like a surfing event in Waterford. And I met this girl. Her name is Janet. She had the biggest, frizziest red Irish hair. And we are still really good friends. In fact, we own 2 villas together in Bali.
Wow.
So friendships from back then have, fruited into what they are
Evolved,
now, which is also cool. And then when my bonus mom, when Claudia came to visit me in Africa, we went to Morocco. I jumped on we were staying in a nice hotel, but I jumped on couch surfing just to see what events were happening. And we actually met up with a couple local Moroccans who took us to an epic hole in the wall restaurant. She got to meet other couch surfers. We did that whole tea thing that they do. And so I got to introduce her to this kind of community as well. So it wasn't just a free place to stay. It was also meeting locals.
The community. Yeah, sounds really cool. Dan here from Decided to Thrive. Sorry to interrupt the podcast, but I want to make sure if you're enjoying it, don't forget to like and subscribe so we can let you know the next time we put the next episode out. Let's go and keep watching. So you're couch surfing around Europe.
Yep. And then I was like, okay, Joy, 2 years, enough. Moved back. Well, yeah, did some adventures in between. Then moved back to the States. I was like, okay, I'm going to get the house.
How were you earning money during that time? Were you living off of savings or?
Yeah, so I would travel and then find a job.
Like a bar, like
a hostess. Yeah. I was actually an au pair. So I lived in Mallorca with a German family and I was like the nanny for 5 months, and then backpack some more and that, but I worked my butt off during college also.
What places did you hit in Europe? Where did you go?
Oh my gosh, all of the Western ones.
Just reel off some cities.
I lived in Barcelona, so I walked across Spain. I did the Camino de Santiago.
Yeah. I'd love to
which
do
was
that, actually.
Sick. Highly recommend it.
How long did it take you to do?
I did it in 20. I had 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So there was one point in time where I got on a bus and I skipped the middle part, but I started with the running of the bulls. And then we were walking almost a marathon a day. It was
Intense.
Incredible. Where else?
I've been to
France,
Munich,
Italy, Germany, Ireland, London. Yeah.
And is there any particular favorite thing that sticks out that
Wow, we are going way back in time here. On that trip, I think it was living in Mallorca. Back then, I wasn't into the party scene, so I didn't even know about Ibiza. Now I look at it.
How old were you at this time, by the way?
22.
Right, okay.
22, 23. And then to finish off the trip, I ended up flying to Tanzania, and I met my dad, and we did a safari. I then lived with the Maasai warriors for a couple months volunteering.
As you do.
At a national park. Yeah, why not, right? I'm I have a couple more months. Let me just live. I wish that we had Insta back then. We would cook it with the coals and there was no electricity. Yeah. And so living with that culture for a couple months as the different people would come in after their safari, it was sick. And then I finished it out with Kilimanjaro.
You know what? We've got loads more to go through, but I want to understand. You've gone to, I don't know, let's just 10, 20, 30 countries. How many?
79.
79 countries.
Yeah.
Right. And you haven't just breezed through and luxury life, 5-star hotels. Because, when you go to these luxury hotels, I'm going to be honest with you, they're all the same. If you stay here or there, it's much of a much. It's nice, it's comfortable, but it's once you've seen one, you've kind of seen them all, right? It gets, but you're actually having real deep experiences and experiencing different people's cultures. That contributes to, I've lived in a few different cities around the world. I've lived in Spain, I've lived in Portugal, and I know how much more my eyes are open to what they would have been if I just stayed in London.
Yeah,
right.
Totally.
And if I speak to somebody from London, they've got no idea of what it's like to pick up and move to another country. And so, what do you like? Do you have a key lessons from any of this? Living with a tribe in Tanzania or even Barcelona in itself is a whole unique culture that I'm aware of, right? And I don't even know what Munich would be like and all these other places. So, is there it must culminate massively for you into having such a diversified understanding of of people. What 1, 2, or 3 things that really stick out that you think have impacted you in a big way?
Staying open.
Okay.
Yeah, and being a yes person.
What do you mean by staying open and being a yes person?
When like opportunities present themselves, I mean, the most abundant state that you can be in is when you are open to the idea.
Okay.
Right. And so to not be judgmental right off the bat or experience, like I remember in Germany, there was like a car share website or something. It would like, you could carpool your way around. Like my friend told me about this and I was like, okay. So just being, open. I don't know how else to describe it, but the thing with also manifestation and what I'm like realizing the older I get, in order to manifest, you already have to be living that life, right? So the people that are staying in London and they've never experienced this world or that world, they couldn't ever imagine what it's like to wake up a day here.
Yeah.
Right. So how can they dream about, I mean, obviously social media and stuff like that, but you have to be already living that life. And I think that the more that you get out and the more experiences you see, you find what really resonates with you. And then it also, you have to kind of become a chameleon to the environment that you're in. Right. So yes, I can be with like the luxury high VIPs, or I can be with, the lower, whatever.
Yeah. And did you not find that you then lose your own identity if you're a comedian?
No, I think that I'm a character. I mean, I do have a lot of energy. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I will give people that. Yeah. But when you do, I say like, when you come into the joy tornado, I'm just going to bring you along because I love sharing energy. I love giving hugs. I love supporting people where I can.
You've answered my questions up there, by the way, right? Because I find you fascinating. I think your energy, and I agree. You definitely vibrate high. You've got great energy. The fact that you would describe yourself as the joy tornado. I mean, it just lets me know that you can't lose your identity.
Yeah, I'm very strong.
You've got main character energy.
I do, and I mean, there's not a lot of things I'm super insecure about, which is like a blessing, because I see so much of it around here. But when I feel that insecurity, it's like, okay, looking at the positive things, and then who can help me out, right? And I think both of our networks are so big.
Yeah.
So you can always find help.
Well, I mean, people always comment on my network. I'm a natural networker. I don't actively.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I don't actively go out to build a network. I actually go to places and I try and keep myself to myself, and I somehow magnetize people, right?
Because of your energy, right? And a fascinating story.
Yeah, thank you. So, but I think, but one thing I massively agree with you that most people miss. I think you have to go into your head and go, who can help me out here? So many people, they close in and they try and tackle all their problems on their own. And actually, I think if someone calls me and asks me for help, I'm quite grateful that they thought of me to ask, and I'd gladly
honored.
Help you.
Yeah. I mean, Richard Branson had a quote that said something like, I didn't know how to do everything, but I was going to learn. Or ask for help. Yeah.
And I think asking for help is something that most people are very intimidated about doing, and they tend to go into a sort of more quieter corner and hide from their closest friends, the people that love and care about them, So okay, so you've carpooled, you've couch shared, you've been all around Europe, you decided to go back. So you went to Tanzania and then you lived with the tribe.
Yeah,
right?
I lived with the tribe.
Cook food with coal and no electricity.
Oh my gosh, what a trip. Yeah. Did Kilimanjaro. I mean, the Kilimanjaro trip, so I met a couch surfer when I was in Amsterdam, and I saw a postcard of the mountain on his fridge. And I said, what is that? And this was like months and months prior. And he said, oh, like I run different events and stuff, like climbing this mountain. And I thought to myself, one day I'm going to do this. So I ended up using his company to run, to do this Kili trip, which was really cool.
So did you do that with your dad, or did you?
No, by myself.
Right, okay, right.
Yeah. By myself. I mean, looking back now, I think doing a lot of these solo trips when you're younger is cool. Now I want connection.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Okay. But your guiding star, it sounds like, has been to have life experiences.
Oh, yeah.
Because, and you say it like for sure, but it's not everyone's. Most people are conditioned, hey, go to school, college, university, get a job. And you're like, no, I'm going to go and travel the world and have all these life experiences. Yeah.
And that's still my case.
Really, yeah?
Yeah.
And what do you think, where's that come from? I mean, again, you've grown up on a farm, right? I mean, your parents are, they're not worldly people if they're on a farm.
Yeah,
right?
No.
So where does it come from?
That is such a great question. I don't know because I mean, I don't ever want to be called like the black sheep of the family, you know, but I'm definitely different from the rest of my family. Is it a good thing though? Like, is that a high frequency word? Yeah, I don't know. I'm very selective with the words that I say to myself and out loud, right? Because they manifest into, you know, whatever.
The words you speak, like the path to your feet. Have you ever heard that?
I love it. No, but I'm going to use that. Okay, great.
I'm giving it to you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you.
So,
I don't know. I don't know if I was like trying to like prove to someone to be like, hey, Dad, guess where I'm at now, you know? I don't know. But yeah, I wanted to collect passport stamps and experiences rather than chase the corporate rabbit hole, which so many of my fellow graduates were doing. During college, I studied sports marketing. And Phoenix was such a cool place to go to uni because we had all the NBA games, all the All-Star games, Super Bowls. I mean, I was getting into the industry. And working. I mean, I worked for the Super Bowl host committee when I was there when the Patriots lost to the Giants. Oh, that was a heartbreaking game.
You're talking Chinese to me, by the way.
Yeah, okay, fine. But it was a great place to network. So but when I went back after all this traveling, in 2 years, you lose all your contacts. They're at different media studios and all over the place. So I then had to like rebuild and be like, okay, what am I going to do? And so I don't even remember what I did. I just remember not fitting in anymore.
Okay.
After living abroad and having all these experiences.
You know, I've got to say something. I've got loads of friends and I'm going to call it chosen family in the US. Okay. I've got like different businesses that are in the US. I've traveled with Tony Robbins and Andy Elliott, you know. So I've got loads of different people. And not in a horrible way, but again, I say this, a lot of US people are so US centric. They're not worldly people.
No.
Like the US is so big.
What's the percent of people that have passports in the States?
I've got no idea.
So small.
Really, yeah?
Really small.
But you speak to America, I speak to American people, and like I say, they rarely go beyond Mexico. It's US and Mexico, and that's what they know. And you talk about anything else you want, they just don't. And by the way, some of them have got huge businesses, right? But for me, what's really I found fascinating is how nearly successful they can be, or the stuff that they're doing, but it's just all US centric.
Yeah.
When you're in Europe, you end up going to different countries, and you go to Germany,
in like an
Italy,
hour.
Yeah.
I mean,
and you see all these different cultures.
Easy.
You know? Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when I got home, I just realized that I didn't connect to my American people anymore, and it was really hard to fit back into that lifestyle. And so I was like, okay, what job can I do to take me abroad again? And so I became a teacher in Korea. And I lived in Korea for 2 years. As you do, right?
I just don't.
Okay. Yeah. So I lived in Seoul.
Well, how did you get to Korea? Why Korea?
Because a lot of the backpackers that I were meeting were all ESL teachers.
Right. Okay.
And so it was just
in Korea.
No, like I mean, around the world, they're always looking for good native English teachers.
Yeah.
And I thought, give it a try.
So I want to ask you a quick question because you did the Camino de Santiago.
Yeah.
You climbed Mount
Kilimanjaro.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. Are you an athlete at this point? At what point did you do you consider yourself an athlete? What did you do? Like is that because you've got to be pretty fit to do those things?
Yeah.
Right.
I played lacrosse in college. I mean, I grew up as an athlete my entire life. At that point though, it was right before I left for Korea that I found CrossFit.
Okay.
And so I found CrossFit. And when I got recruited to my job in Korea, I told this girl, I said, I want to be within a mile. There was only 2 CrossFit gyms back then, only 2. I said, I need to be within a mile. I mean, I was hooked on it already at that point, but it wasn't a thing. Nobody knew what CrossFit was. So there was this one, little pokey hole in the wall CrossFit gym. And I did get a job right there. And I got good really fast. I got strong really fast, I think just because of that background. And then I was offered a coaching job on the military base.
Okay.
So I started my CrossFit
coaching.
I started my CrossFit coaching career with the military guys.
Right.
which was
In
epic.
Korea.
In Korea.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I think CrossFit's one of those things interesting. You speak a lot about tribes and communities.
Totally.
CrossFit is a community thing. Like,
Yep.
like when you go to a CrossFit gym, you connect with everyone, you're
Immediately.
training together, and it's that's part of the thing that makes it addictive, right?
That
Everybody's
is what
pushing.
makes it, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it became our family. So that was my family there,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And we would do barbecues on the weekend together. And we were always like, well, you know, if you hadn't been to the gym in a couple days, they'd call you and be like, where you been? You know? And then CrossFit Asia Regionals came out and we competed. We got a team together for that. So I started competing. Again, got really good. Not as good as I'd liked. If there's any parents that are watching this, please put your kids into gymnastics. Like
okay.
that is the one regret, not a regret, but like I wish that I had learned a little bit more. You know, with CrossFit, there's a lot of gymnastics based movement, but I think for any kid, learning the hand-eye coordination, the body balance, you know, just for a couple years, I think that would have been a better foundation.
I did gymnastics as a kid. I don't know if it paid off for me.
No?
I definitely don't feel like I did it, but if I go back, I did it for a brief period as a kid. Yeah. You know, I was going to say to you, you know, when you move, I have a philosophy that when you move country and you're able to cut off from your comfort of your security of, you know, my friends around the corner, or this is where I went to school, and you go to a whole nother country and you build up your community and where the local gym is and where your local supermarket is. I think once you do that once, you develop a muscle where you can do it anywhere.
I agree.
Yeah. And I think just like what you said, like when you said, it just hit me when you said I went to Korea and that became my family there. So you've probably gone to different countries, I'm assuming, and you've built up like a little family, a little community in everywhere you've gone.
Shout out to my fams everywhere.
Yeah, but you know, but it's great. Listen, it's a skill set. It's a life skill
Interesting.
that
Yeah.
many people won't
Yeah.
have, and it gives you, I think, a sense of confidence and certainty within yourself. I don't know if you agree. Like you know, like self-confidence.
I mean, when I was talking to my therapist about, you know, all of this, like, you know, because my mom kept telling me, like, what are you running from? Right? Like,
Okay,
she
interesting.
thought me traveling to all these places, like me
running.
running from something. So my parents are split. And so every weekend I would pack a bag and my dad would pick me up and I'd go to his house. Then I'd pack up again and then go back to my mom's house, right? So even from an early age, I was so versatile in sleeping in different beds, throwing clothes into a bag, getting on the road.
Right.
You know, so maybe that was something that kind of like generated into, you know, being able to put things into a suit, like throw things in a bag and just like go to the train station. Whereas some people that would be uncomfortable for them.
You know, I think every experience is the meaning we assign to it. Right. And so it's interesting because I'm looking at you thinking, wow, you've traveled the world. That's like how fun and amazing and like nearly fruitful and eye-opening is that as a life experience. Like we've got a life journey. It's like that long. You're going to live and then we do all X amount and then we die. And so many people live a very like constrained life. And then, but so my meaning is more of an open enjoyment, but yet your mum's meaning is you're running away from something. It didn't even occur to me that you're running away from something.
Crazy.
You know, until you said it.
Yeah, no, she's told me that so many times. Joy, why don't you just settle?
Yeah.
Settle.
My dad, yeah, even the word, right? Who wants to settle in life as well, by the way, right? So,
Right?
So
I need to ask ChatGPT, where on the frequency chart does settle come in?
yeah. You know, look, I call this podcast Deciding to Thrive.
Yeah.
Which is the
'Cause
opposite.
it's your decision.
To thrive. Because listen, we're going to live a life and you can survive.
Or settle.
Or you can survive or thrive.
Yeah.
You can settle
Yeah.
or thrive. And so it's a decision to go, hey, I want to do more, be more, have more, etc. So yeah. So cool. So you've gone to Korea. So now you're in the CrossFit.
Yep. Into CrossFit. And then, you know, that really opened a lot of doors because back then there weren't a lot of other strong female coaches. So then I went to Abu Dhabi in 2014.
Okay.
And started a women's only program down there. But shortly after I got that gig, I was offered a job in Thailand.
Okay.
And I was like, Abu Dhabi,
So you recruit.
Phuket.
So you moved to Abu Dhabi, or you were going to move?
I moved. Yeah,
You actually
I
moved
lived
here?
there for 3 months.
Okay,
just
cool.
before my probationary period was finished.
Right.
I got a call that said that, you know, this gym in Phuket, Thailand needed a head coach and if I would come over there. And I was like, how do you say no to that? Right. So I ended up going to Phuket and I was there for 9 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Phuket's lovely. You know, what I think that was really interesting. I mean, do you think it's sports that has given you the confidence? I mean, you're taking on big challenges and you're striving already from a young age. You know, Camino de Santiago, climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, moving country is an experiential thing, not necessarily a thriving thing per se. But you know, then going into this CrossFit team and being head coach, these are all like quite ambitious things. Where do you think that kind of you know, that striving to do more has come from?
I think my Leo energy.
I didn't know you were a Leo.
Yeah, I'm a Leo.
When's your birthday?
August 11.
Okay, I'm the 7th.
Oh, okay. See, look at us fire.
Yeah, that's why the lion's there.
Look at us with the fire. Yeah, I've always had
so it's Leo.
so much energy.
Yeah.
And I'm also a natural connector. And so when I did my astrology chart, she told me that my sun is behind me and that I see my light through the eyes of other people.
Gotcha.
So when I bring other people together, and that's why I think it just comes into soul sessions and planning events and doing all these big things, because I get to see everybody else's happiness. And when they're all happy, then it like makes me really happy.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of drive coming from there. And then, have you ever heard about Fitness Street in Phuket?
Fitness Street.
Yeah, it's a neighborhood. Oh my God. Okay, so it's a 1 mile road.
I know a lot of personal trainers, like people living there being personal trainers or something.
No. There's 15 gyms on one road. Right. And it's like ding, 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 ding. And then in between all the gyms are, you know, $9 massages, little bamboo huts selling protein shakes and chicken and rice.
So cool.
And so I worked at two gyms there. One called Unit 27 and the other one called Tiger Muay Thai.
Okay. I know Tiger. I've heard of Tiger. Yeah, it's really popular. A lot of celebrities and stuff go there.
Celebrities, UFC fighters.
Yeah.
I mean, you have everyone on this street from a UFC fighter to a 300-pound dude just trying to lose some weight.
Right. Really.
And it's just another family. It's another ecosystem of like-minded people that want to travel and want to better themselves. Like, you're not going to the street to like hang out, you know?
And there's that many people in Phuket that make it like that can populate those gyms.
Oh my! I mean, on a high season day at Tiger, we had anywhere from 700 to 900 people walking through our door daily.
Wow.
Like it's such a big facility that every modality had its own. So BJJ had its own thing. Muay Thai had its own thing. Wrestling had its own area. CrossFit had its own area. And then behind the gym were hotel rooms.
Yeah.
So you could just go and it was your training camp.
Yeah, I used to do that in Pattaya with Fairtex. Have you ever heard of Fairtex?
Yeah, of course. So we have now a Fairtex place in Phuket as well.
Yeah. So it's great. I love Thailand. So I actually have business in Bangkok as a separate thing.
Amazing.
But I used to go and spend loads of time to unwind in Thailand and just literally train, get like you said, like a $9 massage. And it was
fresh
just a very like healthy.
coconuts.
Yeah, exactly.
Great massages. I mean, it's but I also call it Peter Pan syndrome.
Okay.
Because people there, you know, you don't really grow up, you know, and I think so during COVID, all the gyms got shut down.
Right.
And that's what really pushed me into coaching online.
Okay.
And so I was like, how can I coach online? I'm such an energy person. I was used to coaching 50, 70 people in a class. I'm like, how can I take my energy online? But I found a business coach. And this coach helped me go from 0 to 60 clients within 3 months.
Love that.
And this was the start of COVID. Everybody was obviously on their computers. And that's kind of where I'm at today.
So, so that business coach helped you, kickstart you. So at that point, was it not, I mean, I'm a big believer in coaches and I've invested a lot in
Yeah, you are.
Right?
You're the number one believer in it. Every coach needs a coach.
Look, I've got to tell you something. Look, I'm somebody that's invested. Like people see me today and they think, and this is what I want to ask you, right? And they see the success that I've had and I believe they think, well, it's okay for him, he can afford to do it. But when I first started, I couldn't necessarily afford to do it, but I decided to back myself and get someone to guide me. And I knew I was going to make sure I was going to get a multiple on that investment. So I'm guessing when you first went to the business coach, I'm sure this is the first time you've had a business coach.
First time I had really no money. And so when he said that he was $1,000 a month and I needed a 12-month commitment, I was like, So I hung up after our discovery call and I didn't do anything for 2 months. I just sat with this idea and I kept watching his stories and the other coaches' successes that they were having. And then one day, I'll never forget this. The first story that I looked at that day was like, what are you waiting for? Start today. And I literally got out my credit card and I was like, you know what, Joy, you're going to do this and you're going to make it work. And with that mentality and that mindset, I was like, I can't fail. You're not going to fail. And I think it was the failure thing that like was creeping in the back of your head. And so at that moment, it was just the biggest pivotal shift because it's a big investment. And coaches are even more expensive these days. I mean, $1,000 for a coach is nothing these days, right? So every year I was like, okay, I want to find a coach that you have to find a coach that you resonate with, right? That's on your same frequency. And then I would also say, get a ton of, if it's a smaller name, Tony Robbins, obviously, but like if it's a smaller name coach, get a lot of referrals because I've also had really terrible coaches that say they're going to do stuff and don't follow up. And I've wasted a lot of money.
You know what? It's interesting to say that. Like I've invested a lot and I don't know, it's over $1 million. And then some, right? To give you an idea. Yeah. But the good news is I've made a multiple.
Amazing.
See? Yeah.
Worth it.
So, and even at times when that said coach hasn't lived, the minute I decide to commit to a coach, I'm really committing to myself.
Yep.
And here's what I find. Like when your back is up against the wall, like, can I do it? Can I not? I think that we haven't really made that commitment. The minute we're in and we pay that money, we're like, do you know what?
Yep.
I don't care what goes wrong. I have to succeed at this thing. I have to make it pay.
Yep.
Because I'm not going to put that money. So I don't know if it's ever wasted money because you get, sometimes you get the lesson you want, sometimes you get the lesson you need, right?
True.
And sometimes the coach teaches you and sometimes, but in my experience, every time I've invested in myself, first, and I've done things where I've made great connections and great communities and stuff like that. But I've always felt a sense of self-worth, which might be really weird to some people, right? But I think once you back yourself with money, you're saying, yeah, I'm worth more. And that's how I feel.
Yep.
I think when you don't have that coaching, you don't have that commitment and accountability, you can hide away and just coast through life.
Totally. And you nailed it. It's the accountability.
Yeah.
Because anybody can get a free training program online.
Yeah.
But when people pay for my my friends ask me all the time, like, Joy, can I just get some like free advice or free program or free workouts or whatever? And I'm like, I have no problem giving you free anything. However, you're not going to respect it. You're not going to follow up for it. And then it's just a waste of both of our times.
Look, for years, we've got the libraries for free that have loads of books that people could get, And, even in the fitness coaching space, you look at, especially in the US, it blows my mind when I go to the US, the level of obesity.
Oof.
It's
awful.
Yeah, it really is disgusting.
I
don't know how some people allow themselves to get so big. But, and I feel for people because they don't know. But the point is, anyway, we're at a place where things are free. You can go onto the internet and go, how do I lose weight? How do I live a healthy life? You can get it for free straight. You go ChatGPT, even more so. There's no accountability.
Correct. And that's what you're really paying for.
Yeah.
So when you sign up on my program, we do weekly accountability calls. And a lot of my business coaches are like, stop wasting your time. And I'm like, yeah, but I like those minutes with my clients to like figure out what's going on in their life, even if we shoot the shit for a few minutes.
And that's great. I many years ago, and I was lucky, I had a separate mentor in one of my businesses that I didn't pay for, but was gold. This guy was like a billionaire and just an incredible guy. And I'm so blessed to have been put in contact with him. And he got me to sit down and design my life. He said, I want you to design your life. And so, and I would go through different iterations through time. Sometimes you get lost and I would sit down and go, okay, where am I? Where do I want to be? And when I was designing my life, I said, well, what does a perfect day in my life look like? Right? Or what does a day in a perfect life look like? So, okay, what time do I wake up? Okay, I want to live by the beach. I wanted to go for a walk or run in the morning. I want to take my kid to school and have the freedom to do that. So, okay, well, I've got all the money in the world. I've got all the time in the world. What do I do? Okay, well, there's only so much of travel and beach and stuff you can do. I want to talk to some people. I want to help some people. So I'd like to have 3 or 5 calls a day. I would like just when I feel like it. And what I realized then is I never want to not work. I want to have that sense of purpose and interaction and do something even, but want to be able to control it, because otherwise life would be boring.
Yeah.
I think.
But I don't think you consider your work, do you?
I don't consider it. Listen, I go back to, I'm probably living my dream life now. Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, look, I'm going to be honest with you.
We
That
have the
life,
beach, we have all the things, you're helping people, you're talking to people.
Yeah, I live by the beach. So the other part of that vision was having a boat and going out 2 or 3 times a week, and I have that now.
Do you have a boat?
Yeah, I have a boat here. You didn't know I have
when
a
are
boat?
we going out?
Yeah, I'm going out on the boat tomorrow. So yeah, so you're welcome to join.
Amazing.
So so I take it out a couple of times a week. When friends come over to Dubai, actually I've got a guy visiting from the UK, so I'm taking him out tomorrow with the kids. And one of my friends who live here with his kids and Kenzo. And but my point about all of this, so I definitely don't. For me, work and life is one thing. Like, obviously, I was married, I'm divorced, right? When I was with my wife at the time, she would talk about a birthday is a really important day for me. We have to do this thing on my birthday. Now, that wasn't always easy because I had, we weren't aligned on this, right? My version of life is I get to do what I want 95% of the time. 5% of the time, I've got commitments. Right.
Yes.
But then it's not about a birthday, or I don't have to be a birthday or Christmas for us to go on holiday or for us to give presents, or we can do that all day, every day.
Totally.
But sometimes I have to be in that place at that time just for that thing. And again, even then it's a decision, right? But it's a decision that serves the greater whole, if it makes sense.
I mean, I would even go as far as like 80-20. And this is how I just live my life in general, both with food, diet, training, living a balanced life, work, play. I mean, like when people are so regimented and they're so strict, what, like for me, you look at Brian Johnson, right? Like, is he really happy? You know?
Yeah. And look, some people get to discipline, and discipline is their happiness. There's a level of that I do get, but I do think, but I agree with you. I think there's got to be, And you've got to pick your, I think the 80-20 rules are always a great
Okay,
rule.
I have a question for you though. I want to go back to all of your coaches and, hiring a coach and stuff. If someone's never hired a coach, whether it's for business or fitness or whatever, do you have any, like, what tips would you have for them? Or what would you say to someone who's never had a coach before?
That's a great question. I think that you should find somebody, you kept saying it, like someone you resonate with. So I think firstly, they should be credible in that they should have walked the path that you want to walk. They should have already walked it. So look, I have coaches.
So when these 23-year-old coaches get online and they're selling their services, you're like, have you been alive long enough?
Look, I'm gonna share something with you that's like, this is real raw truth for me, by the way, right? But so obviously, I'm a business coach now. I mean, obviously I have to do this podcast and I host friends on here. Yeah. But my main business now is a business scaling coach and a managed transformation coach. Okay, and this is again something I've launched recently. I've been an entrepreneur pretty much my whole life. I was fortunate enough to come across Tony Robbins, and that was my first. Look, I had personal trainers a large part of my life. They didn't always help because back then it was more fitness focused and no one taught nutrition. Today there's a more holistic approach. Like a lot of personal trainers are more clued up to talk about nutrition, but back then they didn't. Go back to 80-20, it's 80% nutrition at least, right? So my body shape, I would work out, but I would never really transform, and I was just basically overweight, and I didn't really know how to get in shape, even though I had personal trainers, right? My first experience into life coaching and business coaching came from really Tony Robbins and one of my businesses, and a network marketing business. And so afterwards, when I saw Tony and I knew Tony's story and what he's achieved, I was like, man, I'm following that guy. Right, and
what year was this? What year?
This was 2012/2013.
Okay.
And also my mentor in my network marketing business. I mean, I got introduced to that business, and just to put you in the picture, okay, I was already a self-made multimillionaire. I had affluent friends around me. I was in a dark time in my life, and my friend said, look, there's a guy that can teach us in this business. And I go over to LA to meet him, and I go into his house, and it's a $35 million house with a lift inside it that I stayed in like my own section of the house. It wasn't like a room. It was a whole like suite. It was crazy. He had 15 cars with like Ferraris, Bentleys, Rolls Royces. I mean, you name it. And I'm like, who is this guy? Like, I've just never seen this sort of wealth, right? And And he was fit. He was 48 years old, like six pack, happily married, 3 kids. And I was just like,
who is this imaginary person?
And I'm like, this is my dream life. I mean, literally, it was like, this is my dream life. And my initial thought was I didn't trust him. Because I was like, one of my first successes was in nightclubs, right? Which was in event organizing. And I grew up a bit more street, and like there's a lot of like gangsters and criminal people. So it wasn't a place where you really trust people. It was like, no one's there to help you, right? So why is this guy who's got all of this going to help me? And I thought, is he some sort of con artist, right? I mean, literally, like he was probably earning what I earn a year in a week or something, right? But anyway, so that was, so I just took, when I eventually trusted him, I went, whatever he's going to tell me, I'm going to. He said something to me, actually. He gave me a bit of advice. And again, there was resistance at the beginning, right? And bear in mind, I wasn't paying him. If I had made the decision back then to pay him, I probably would have listened straight away, because I would have like kind of, but this was a free coaching at the time, and I was lucky that I took it. Most people don't. I'm probably one of the 1% that did, right? Because when people don't pay, they generally don't pay attention. Yep. But he said something to me. He said, you're a really successful guy. You're very strong-minded. He goes, and he said me 2 things. He said, look, we've been on this earth a similar amount of time, and our results are different in the same period of time. Why do you think that is? And then he goes, either we can disagree, or either I can think like you and have what you've got, or you can think like me and have what I've got. And I just went, I'm going to shut the hell up and just listen to you. Yeah. Because I want what you've got. Yeah. And it was just that simple for me. And that was the moment the decision was really made. Yeah. And I just went, hey, you just tell me what to do. And then I was with, I committed to Tony. So I went to a Tony event. So my best friend got me a free ticket to a Tony Robbins event. I didn't know much about Tony Robbins. I'd heard of him. I didn't really know what he did. And other people would tell me they've been to a Tony event. And when I talk to him, sometimes like it was a 2-hour thing, and that's not a Tony event. A Tony event's like, for me, is a minimum of 4 day. You walk on fire, it's unleash the power within. And I went there, and I don't know how to explain it. That everything transformed. I was going through a really dark period in my life. One of the reasons you walk on fire is because this is part of his NLP, is to let you know that you can do something that you've never done before. Ooh, right? So it's like breaking a pattern of what's possible. But I came away from there understanding that I had this new business opportunity. You talk about abundant, and I understood I could reach limitless heights. I thought this was an opportunity that, like, from the ashes of the problems that I was going through, there was this new opportunity. And that's always the case, by the way. Your darkest day can become your best day. Your darkest day is an ending of something, but can be the beginning of something new. And I was in the beginning of something new, where limitless possibilities. And I thought, I need a mentor now. I don't need to get successful and then come and get the mentor. I need the mentor now to help me go faster, to compress decades into days. Yeah, that's exactly what I believe. It's like, I tell people when it comes to mentoring and stuff like that, it's like this. If you want to become a chef, you can go to school, college, you can do a few years, and then you can learn what ingredients go with what thing, and then you can go to culinary school, and then you can do whatever it's called, an internship, and you can spend 10, 20 years, and maybe you're going to find the right ingredients. Maybe not, because you're not guaranteed. Maybe you get it where you can maybe become a Michelin star chef. If you're lucky enough to find someone who's a Michelin star chef, then they're going to train you, and they train you on 10 or 15 dishes, and you just made those dishes every day for a month, and you can make 15 dishes at the end of that month to perfection, or 2 months or 3 months, whatever, like 90 days, then you're a Michelin star chef. Whether you've got a certificate or not, that's your level. You can literally open a restaurant. Everyone's going to come because that's your skill set. So that's what a mentor, that's what a coach does, in my opinion. They help
get you from A to B a whole lot faster.
Well, there's slight difference between a mentor and a coach, by the way. But a mentor is generally someone who's got a lot more success, who's walked that path. Yeah. A coach is sometimes someone that might not have that level of success, but is on the outside and can see the things you don't see. So like athletes have, sports people have coaches. That the coach might not be a heavyweight boxing champion, but he knows how to see boxing from the outside. A mentor would be the guy that's been the champion and knows what it goes through. That's a great
way to put it, actually. Yes. And we need both.
Yeah. I mean, look, sometimes a great mentor can be a great coach if they're willing
Yep.
to be that person for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's what I would. So for me, I like to follow someone who's got the result. So look, I've got a PT in the gym now. You know,
you're crushing it in the gym.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do see those stories, by the way.
Yeah, right.
And you bringing your son, which I love,
Yeah.
because when he watches you, this is transformational for kids.
Well, just like you said that your mum sort of.
I
with
saw
your
her in the
holistic-
garden every day, and how she was able to heal people with her herbs. I mean, it's the same way that he's looking up to you, being like,
Yeah.
wow, my dad is amazing.
Yeah.
He goes to school with pride, right? Like, this is my dad.
Well, he sees himself as a businessman already, which is hilarious. He's
love
8 years
it.
old. He's 8 years old.
I also saw that video of him at a conference that you guys were at, and he
Yeah.
gets on the microphone or whatever, right?
Where did he? I don't remember. I can't remember if he did. I took him with me. We've been traveling with Andy Elliott a little bit, and he's connected with Andy and Andy's
Yeah.
kids and stuff like that. But I
how
love it. Look,
funny.
life changed for me when I got around Tony Robbins and my other mentor.
Yeah.
And
Look at the frequency that those people bring in.
like they radiate. I mean, like
Right.
heat.
Yeah.
I'm talking, and Joe Dispenza. I've been fortunate enough.
I was
to be
going to ask you about Joe Dispenza, because he really changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I feel like Tony and Joe are like, that high frequency, vibrational, help rewire your brain kind of guys.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
In very different styles.
Very different styles.
But go on. What did you want to?
So Joe Dispenza has helped me, and I haven't been to any of his retreats, but similar in the sense of just like meditating, learning how to talk to yourself differently. He's really inspired me. That was it.
You asked me something about coaching. I want to go back. There was a couple of things. Number one, I think reading any of these guys' books and any like, look, we're in a world today where you can learn anything and be exposed
a lot of
to anything.
content,
and
yeah.
In a good way, right? Again, look, every good has a bad. There's yin and yang, and then the problem is that you become overwhelmed.
Yep.
Right, because when
Imposter
do you go?
syndrome.
Who do you?
Yeah.
But who do you listen to? Like, so whether you go to fitness, and there's a million different ways. CrossFit is one way to be super fit. There's other people who tell you, weightlifting or just go running, or there's a million different ways to do stuff. Okay, and many of the things work, but I think you have to stick to one thing. You have to pick the right path for you, and the right coach and the right mentor and that. But I think that you can read it in books. Because of my exposure to Tony and to live events, I'm a live event guy. And I'm a touch and feel. So like what you were talking about, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with online coaching, because it's good. But what I was going to say is I prefer contact and closeness. So let me explain to you what that looks like for me. Number one, I prefer live events over reading a book. So I've read Joe Dispenza's books, but going to a live event was a game changer.
Totally.
Right? Tony Robbins, I've read all of his books, but going to an event is an absolute. Tony specifically is an event master and an NLP master as well, a neuro-linguistic programming master. So you go to an event and he'll transform your life. The book might do that. The event will do that, right? But then the challenge with those guys is some people get inspired and change for a week, a month, 2 months, 3 months, and they go back to their environment and they crash and they don't know how to create a supportive environment.
Yep.
Okay. And so also what I like for coach, for me, and this is what I do and what I offer to a lot of people now, is my style is I want to be in the trenches with you. So like what you were saying about touching, but I want that, hey, I'm going to teach you what to do. Go and do it, and I'm going to hold you accountable, and we're going to go back and forth until you achieve the result. It's not a one and done, come for 2 days, 3 days, and then I've given you everything you need to know, you're going to do it or you're not. And so that also when I look for things, I want somebody to be with me and hold me accountable, and that's something that I like to do. So these are things because
it's kind of like the analogy with Ozempic, right? It's like you can take this quick fat loss drug, but then you haven't changed your lifestyle habits, you haven't changed your mindset, you haven't changed the toxins in your house, and then they come off of it, and now that's why people are seeing all the repercussions of weight gain and blindness and all this stuff that's happening with this.
Yeah.
But yeah, similar in the sense.
So that's what I say about picking a coach, I think.
Yep.
So I want to get back to this because we've gone off on a tangent on this, but interesting. So you've gone to Thailand. You're in Phuket. You're in, what's the street called? Fitness Street. Is
It's
it?
yeah,
Fitness
yeah,
Street,
it is Fitness Street.
And then, so where did it change? So you're there for 9 years.
Yep.
That would be like Thailand was somewhere that I always wanted to have a house in. By the way, like
Oh, it is. It's a vibe. It's gotten a lot more expensive now.
really. Yeah.
But yeah, when COVID shut down, I started traveling.
Online coaching. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you started. So you got your business coach. You started online coaching. So
Yep.
you said you paid $1,000 a month. What was your return on that? You got 60 clients. Just give me an idea. What was your like?
Oh, I was at 100K in the first year.
Right. So you 10x basically.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Crushed it.
That's. I just think that's such a that in itself. I don't know if you share that story, by the way.
I don't.
But you should.
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah.
People don't realize that. I think the biggest challenge is people look at what it could be costing them, but they're never calculating what it's costing them.
Investment.
No, but they're never calculating what it's cost them not doing
do
it.
it. Correct.
Right? Because if you had never have done that, where would life be right now?
I literally ask myself this all the time.
Yeah.
Because at that moment when I made the decision to book that coach, that was, I mean, your life is going like this and all of a sudden something happens and it goes in another direction.
I'm going to tell you, you said your life is going like this.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to tell you something. In life, you're either growing
or you're dying.
or you're dying. So you think it's going like that. It's
Yeah.
about time
You're
before it goes
actually
like
going
that.
backwards, yeah.
Or you're going to fall off a cliff and you don't realize
Yeah.
it because,
Yeah.
like nowadays inflation, like, I have people reaching out to me. Look, my main person that I work with, genuine entrepreneur, because I charge a lot more than $1,000 a month, right?
Mm-hmm.
But people get a massive return based on what they've already got.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm not the guy for the small guy. I'm not the guy from 0 to 100.
You're not low ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
But isn't that like, it's also exciting because you never know who you're going to meet, what opportunity is going to arise.
Look, I'd be open to helping somebody, but I know the person who's guaranteed a massive thing is a bigger thing. But I prefer dealing with a bigger client and paying bigger money because they're just more in the game. Like, I think my days of working with people that aren't as committed to their result, I don't want to be more committed to them than they are to themselves.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm looking...
And that's why I don't work with everybody. Because if I see any kind of flakiness, I'm like, look, at my business is only successful because I get great transformations.
Yes, and you've got to be...
If you're not going to give me a great transformation, I don't want to waste our time.
Yeah, exactly.
And same thing with you, right?
Yeah, totally. So,
yeah.
So, okay. So you start going online, you're doing 100K.
Yep. Traveling, I mean, good life. I'd never had that kind of money before, you know? And I mean, because when you live in Thailand, your salaries aren't so great, but you got a great life.
Listen, if you've grown up how you've grown up and how I've grown up, I've got to let you know something, right? My parents, and we've got a successful business, have earned no more than about 40,000 a year. Wow. So for 100K, and I'm assuming you're talking 100K a year, not
US,
100K.
yeah.
Yeah. No, but still 100K a year because a lot of people that are around today are doing 100K a month is quite
a year. Yeah.
But back then, you're going back, you're talking COVID times, maybe not so much COVID, maybe a little bit before, but even still, for most people and our parents, 100K meant you were rich. Like you're doing 100K a year, you're like a very high paid.
Completely.
You know.
And so when I kept telling my dad, like I was going to hire this business coach, he was so skeptical, told me not to do it. The other coach that I've hired not recently, a couple of years now, is a travel coach. So
what does a travel coach do?
Oh my gosh, he's amazing. Shout out to Trevor on my Instagram, Miles Method. He has hacked the American credit card point system, basically. And so I'm flying business and first class around the world for $130.
We need to talk.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, he only works with Americans because, I mean, it's like he could probably help you, but like the credit card system in the States is different. Incredible.
Yeah.
So as long as like you're smart with your money, you're good with paying off your credit cards. There's so many myths around like shutting your credit cards for your credit score and stuff. I mean, I have like an 800 credit score, which is phenomenal. And I've been doing this kind of like thing for the last couple of years. So when I signed up with him, my dad laughed at my face. And the investments that I've made in myself, I'm like, I can't ask for my parents' opinion anymore because they're living in a time where you didn't invest in yourself like that.
You know what? I don't 100% agree with what you're saying. I don't think they're living in a time where you didn't. I think they're of the psychology that believes that because back then there's still people that invested in themselves.
Yeah. True. True. Thank you. My dad's generation.
Yeah, but I think that when you got asked again about coaches, like, forget coaching for a minute and mentoring, whatever. Who do you take advice from?
Yeah.
Anyone who's got what you want. You don't take health advice from a fat person. You don't take financial advice from a poor person. You don't take love advice from a single person.
But you want your parents' approval, you know?
I think we'll, you know, again,
Yeah.
I told you something that, you know, one of my brands is a bloodline breaker.
Yeah.
And,
Tell me about this.
So, you know what, it's not my phrase. I've coined it from somebody else. The point is, you know, you're breaking the bloodline. The bloodline, you can be the first person in your family that has had success, found happiness, done the things that, you know, achieve your goals in life, whatever that looks like to you. And I think that we're wired probably to seek our parents' approval. I think for a long time I did. I am the black sheep of my family. I don't have a great family relationship, and I've got my own story around that. But I think that what it's done for me is given me confidence and self-love and appreciation of myself without the need for approval.
Great.
So I'm about meeting.
Cool. Breaking the ancestral trauma.
Yeah. But understanding who do I want to be in life. And look, my biggest thing is, can I look in the mirror and be proud of the man I am?
Yeah.
And if I can do
and
that,
pass that down to your son.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. And that's what I aim to do. You know, he's doing great. So,
and our parents are also, I mean, they did the best that they could, that they knew how.
They always, by the way, that's everybody, right?
Correct.
Listen,
We're just doing the best we can.
Hurt people.
Hurt people hurt. I love that quote.
Yeah. And everybody is fighting their own battle.
Totally.
Look, I could give you some stories about the stuff that my family have done to me. I was not no point for this. But the point is, no one's doing it necessarily because they're malicious or there's hate. They do it because they've got their own insecurities, their own pains, their own things. But the point is, it's you get out of life what you tolerate, and it's whether you're willing to tolerate certain things.
I mean, today driving here, right? Like you're on the highway and someone is just honking at you, you know, and this guy was like, we're literally rolling. It's like a rolling parking lot out there. And he just like, you know, if I like didn't go fast enough, he was like, so I just sent him a little wave, you know? And like in my heart, I was like, you know what? This person needs more love today. I'm going to send them some more love because it's the people, like hurt people. They need more love. And maybe they just don't know how to go about finding the right tools to help them with that love.
So I want to get back to this, right? So we're going to come to a close soon, but I want to know because we haven't even got to Dubai yet, and every lot has changed. So you start traveling.
Yeah.
You got your travel coach.
Yeah.
You're going first class and business class. You're living the life. You're how old at this point?
This was like 3 years ago. This is the last couple of years. Oh, I'm 39 now. So
okay, so 36,
35,
36.
Yeah, 35, 36.
Okay, so 35, 36. So you've got a good little online business, or you've got a decent online business. You've got good business. You're earning money.
Yeah.
You're traveling. Again, where did you go traveling?
I was in Tulum. I was in Turkey for a year. I was in Dubai. This was with my partner at the time. And we just had a great time. I mean, I'm not vaccinated and I'm proud of that. And so we were kind of traveling. He wasn't either. So we were traveling to countries that were open for the non-vaxxed. Turkey was epic. Absolutely. The whole country. I'm just so in love with it. And then I was like, okay, like, I've gone to Bali, Portugal, Mexico, all the hot spots for digital nomads. I was like, where in the world do I want to live? Like, I'm ready to okay, now I'm ready to settle. Like, I want to ground. And I just thought, this is such a thriving, I've been in and out of Dubai for a while. And I just thought, what a great place to kind of hunker down. And when I talk to people that have lived here, they're like, they've been here for 10 years or 12 years or 18 years. And so, like, you know, you go to Bali for maximum a year or two, right? Like, but where I need the sun, I need the sand and the sea, you know, and a vibrant community. And this is everything.
So you came here, so that was what, a year?
October.
2 October.
No, just last year.
Okay. And so here's what I want to ask you. With all these decisions, and it's interesting going back to your mum saying settle down and you saying I want to settle now, and you obviously you had a partner, and I think you're single now, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And you're saying you're looking for that connection now. Do you want a family? Do you want kids?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
And do you think that with all the decisions you've made in the past, that you've sacrificed that? And I say sacrificed, it was a choice. Like, no, I don't want to be tied down and be giving birth and having that. You know, I'm going after my dreams or my goals or is that a payoff you've had to make?
Yeah, like living in Phuket, like nobody lives there. So all of my relationships were all long distance, and that just doesn't work, you know? Not necessarily, right? At least not for me. So
aren't there guys that live in? There's a lot of guys and girls, young guys and girls that go in there to live, I think.
there were, there were just none that I really matched with, I guess.
Right, yeah.
None that wanted to be in the Joy Tornado with me. So now I'm like in a really good place where I'm like, okay, I'm working on myself, which is really important because I think that we always need to be doing that. And so when I hear from my other girlfriends that like dating is so hard and there's no good men out there and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's not my story. That's not my story because my guy is looking for me just like I'm looking for him.
It's a very empowering story, yeah.
And this is also why at Soul Sessions, we've decided to do a choose your wristband.
Yeah, I love that.
Choose your vibe.
Yeah.
Right? Because we do need that little intro into being like, okay, are you single? Like, I don't want to.
Well, do you know what's interesting what you just said? You said that your girlfriends are saying that there's no good guys out there. I would say that there's a lot of men that probably think there's no good women out there. What I personally think is, you're right, there's a match for everybody.
There is.
But I think also we're in a world today, I think culturally we're conditioned to always look like we've got our shit together.
Yep.
Number one. Always look like we're independent, we don't need anybody else.
Yep.
To... if it's not exactly how we want it, not to fight for anything, to throw it away and get a new one. So I think that it's not there's no good men or no good women. I think nobody's really coming to the party, or very few, not nobody, very few people are coming to the party to have a genuine connection.
Yep.
They're all too in their egos, no, I'm better than him or I'm better than her or whatever. And, you know.
Yeah, because I mean, when you find out what someone does for their career, right, you already automatically put them in a box.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're like, okay, I don't want that. I don't want that. You just can't let that be your story though.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because if I say that to one friend, I'm going to say that to another friend. And if your words manifest, then of course I'm not going to find someone. I
think it's so important how much you are aware of your words. You know, they call it spelling, you know, don't you? Because have you heard this or not?
No.
Spelling, because it's like casting spells. It's like magic.
Okay.
Your words
Ooh.
are your manifestation.
Yeah.
I forget, abracadabra actually means something like my words become true or something like that. Did you know that?
Interesting. No, I love it.
So the words are, what we speak is immensely powerful. But when you keep saying your story, we are running a story, and people subconsciously, when we speak it, we think it's the truth. No, it's how we perceive it to be. You know. So that's where you're at now. What exciting things have you got coming up right now? Because you've got Soul Sessions that's expanding.
Yeah. We have biohacking summits. We have health summits. I'm also working with a company called MeFit Pro, which is also called KUA. And we're having a really epic fitness. So any fitness related people, longevity clinics, biohackers, October 10th. We're having a really big conference for that. But I mean, just like the grind and then like the magic that happens that unfolds that you're like, let's take a trip to Georgia for the weekend, or, you know, I don't know.
I think, you know, one thing I noticed, and I'm watching your journey mainly on social media, obviously, like we're in contact, but I see you really rubbing shoulders with some key people. I see you positioning yourself as a real biohacking gut health authority. I don't know if you're speaking on stages yet, but I'm pretty sure if you're not, you're probably in the process.
I'm speaking on quite a few. Yeah.
You are, yeah?
Yep.
And you're like a key figure in all, like a lot of like these kind of conferences that are popping up with some big names on it. So I think I'm
manifesting more of these public speaking gigs because I love it.
Yeah.
Because I've been to so many conferences myself, as you have too. And you know, when you get up there and you're listening to someone that's really smart, but they just don't have the energy and the delivery. What I would like to do is I want to bridge the gap between personal trainers and bodybuilding coaches, and then the medical, functional medicine, doctors, right? So that we can speak to our people on a level that they understand. Because from all of my years of competing, I was eating all the wrong stuff. You had said nobody was talking about nutrition back in 2012, right? I would have been such a better athlete, person, whatever, had I known all the biohacking and nutrition hacks that I know now. So I come from this sports and athletic background, but I also come from a gut health nutrition background. And I really want to bridge the gap. And that's what I want to talk about.
And what about the spiritual side of stuff?
Yes, thank you. Bringing that in, because words, your mindset, I mean, the meditation aspect, all of that can make you just become a better person.
The underlying thing that you have spoken about today has been manifestation. I'm not sure if you're aware of that,
No.
right? So that seems to be a fabric that runs right through you.
Yeah.
So I think all the other things.
Thank you, Joe Dispenza. Because
Yeah.
I actually have a tattoo of abundance. It looks like a Pokeball, but it's actually like the tattoo of abundance. And so I've been on this journey, but like you really have to believe it. And you have to.
Is it an overflowing bowl? Is that what it is?
It's like a circle with like this like squiggly like infinity line through it almost. So everyone's like, pew, like a Pokeball.
Yeah.
But there's so much magic if you're open to believing and seeing it. And when the magic happens, I just like rub my hands together. I have a big gratitude practice. I'm always putting gratitude over the food that I eat, the friends that I share, meals with and stuff. And that's really changed a lot of what's going on up here.
Yeah. So there you've got an opportunity to bring all three together. You asked me just before we started rolling on this podcast, you asked me about my heart attack, which is because it happened about a couple of months after we met, I think.
Crazy. And so how's the recovery going?
Well, the recovery's happened pretty much instantaneous.
Are you taking any peptides?
I am taking peptides.
Tell me.
I wasn't at the beginning. I am taking BPC 157.
Great. Great.
What am I taking? Something
TB 500.
TB 500. Yeah.
They call that the Wolverine stack.
Yeah, the Wolverine stack.
Fabulous for healing.
Yeah.
I love that peptides are becoming more mainstream. I love that people aren't like, oh, it's a steroid. No.
Yeah.
It is magical stuff. Yeah.
So, I mean, I have a specialist guy. Again,
Great.
we talk about coaches. I have a guy that deals with that. Hey, what do I need? What's the best stuff for me? Tell me what I need.
Was there anything in your life that has drastically changed before the heart attack and after?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So look, I've gone through a period. So people said, so you asked me what happened, and you actually asked me something else. You said, did I Google on ChatGPT?
Oh yeah.
What did you
Okay, well, I'll ask a question. Did you ChatGPT what is the spiritual meaning of a heart attack?
Right, yeah. So funny enough, I only launched my coaching business and I'm doing great already. I only launched my coaching business about four mons ago.
Oh my gosh, congratulations.
Right. So I kind of been a coach in my business, in like one of my businesses and previous, and I do what I do out of enjoyment. I mean, we actually met, if you remember, at the conference we were at.
Yeah.
And you were talking about another conference, and I challenged you. You said, that wasn't great. And I said, oh yeah, why'd you think that? I don't know if you remember the conversation.
No?
That was how we met. Yeah, and then I said, why do you think that? And then I gave you a different perspective. Like, you know what? I never thought of it like that. And, so it's kind of who I am, I suppose. But with the heart attack, I never collapsed. I had a pain in my chest. I spoke to a friend. He said, go to hospital. I drove myself to the hospital. I could go more in depth of like all the things I went through, which I'm not going to. But there was a level of trauma within that. Like I was thinking, am I going to crash out, collapse while I'm driving, and what would happen? But anyway, I get to the hospital. I wasn't sure there was a heart attack. I was going for a checkup. They said, look, you're going to be in for a few days. So I was quite shocked. Anyway, still wasn't scared. Nothing happened. Anyway, then they said, we're going to do some tests to rule out some stuff. And they did an operation through, an insertion through here. It's all keyhole surgery. So it wasn't open heart surgery. So for about an hour or two before I went into the operating theatre, it just sort of dawned on me that I might go under general anaesthetic. I've had friends that have died under general anaesthetic before. I don't have a lot of confidence in institutions. I don't have confidence in the medical industry. Now again, these guys saved my life, right? That being said, a lot of mistakes are made in hospitals and people die by fault of that. So I don't like being in that situation. So I did think, well, what if I don't come out of this thing for whatever reason? Yeah. What kind of man have I been? What kind of father I've been to my son? How well is he set up? Where are all my finances? Because I have different structures and things and investments, and how do I communicate that to my ex-wife? So there was a lot of things that I went through, and that was a period of introspection. I was out the next day. So physically, so many people would go, how are you feeling? You okay? Physically, I was fine. I mean, I couldn't exactly go and run a marathon, but for all intents and purposes, I was fine. But there had been an emotional like introspection. And coming back to this spiritual meaning, I feel that the heart attack was a spiritual awakening.
Yeah.
To correct my path, that I wasn't living.
Goosebumps.
I wasn't living my purpose in life.
Wow.
And so this brand, my brand is now called The Purpose Driven Man.
Wow.
And talking to ChatGPT, who became my best friend for a few days, was the perfect career path for me was to be a coach.
Love that.
And that's one of the reasons why I launched my coaching business, was from that heart attack. I said, you know what? You know, do you know who Wayne Dyer is?
Yeah, of course.
Wayne Dyer has this thing. He says, don't die with the music still inside of you.
Yeah.
And what I'd felt was that I'd reached a level in business and with my investments where I wouldn't say I was happy and content. I was mediocre. But you don't really know how happy you are until you find happiness, by the way, right? So you think I'm happy, and then, like I was talking to my friend who's just now gone through a body transformation, and he's like, I was saying I was happy before. Now
just
I'm,
wait till you take your shirt off. Yeah.
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 And now I'm really know what it feels to be alive and have energy, right?
Yeah.
So, I would have said before I was happy, but I wasn't living with purpose. And I was in a place where I didn't really have to work. I wasn't really working, and I wasn't really living life with purpose. And I feel like the heart attack for me was a big shake up to say, hey, now's the time to do more. And so how I feel now is, I'm doing a million things at the minute. Like we are going and blowing. And
Woo!
This podcast is one of them, but we've got so many things cooking.
Yeah.
And I just want to pour out every day and go back home to bed, like just to crash out, basically recharge and go again the next morning.
Amazing.
I'm up at 4:30 every day. I feel so alive.
I love it.
And so that's it. So always in closing, look, you've lived 100 people's lives, by the way. In like the last,
Blessed.
Have you ever written a book?
I've written a book on gut health, but I have not.
What about the world
myself.
and world cultures and all the things that your eyes and ears you've seen and heard and experienced? There's a lot to share with people, and I think that I think the opportunity to pay back, like what life has given us, is a great thing. You've got so much coming up, but if life was going to stop today and you had to give your child, your future grandchild, one piece of advice, one piece of something you want to give all your worldly experiences, what would be that one thing that you would want them to know?
Live your life in gratitude. And that's it. Because gratitude is so high frequency that if you're living that kind of life, you're going to see way more things in beauty, right? Just like what you had told me, the advice about the conference, I was looking at it from a negative side, and you just shifted my perception, and everything that weekend changed.
You see what this says?
Right? Gratitude and love. I love it. My bracelet, gratitude, always on me.
Yeah. This I got after Joe Dispenza, funny enough.
Oh, I love it.
I think that's great. Listen, Joy, it's been absolute joy having you here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, next time.